Gather around, kids, let me tell you a story about a man who lived for the world's glory. See, he grew up in a home split by sin, but he didn't understand the split it made within. Now in 4th grade, a wise woman embedded in him as a youth, Jesus wants a relationship with you. It was truth. But fast forward 5 years, he didn't fully understand, and high school was a completely different land. Christians were boring and their music sucked, and all he wanted was adventure. On the scale of morality, he felt stuck. So he turned to alcohol and his friends who liked punk rock, never forsaking Jesus, but knowing if it was true, he would forgive him and his lot. Now all the while maintaining his image, he was a good Christian boy. No parents or outsiders thought any different. Only he and his friends knew the truth of his weekend, and while they laughed at their success, something in his chest sank and deepened. One day he had enough and said, "This has to stop. Cold turkey, I'm done. No more drinking, no more shots." See, but drinking wasn't the issue. It started with his heart, and this began a vicious cycle that his works couldn't thwart.
My whole freshman year of high school, I started really feeling empty. I was just looking for friends in wrong places, and my sophomore year rolled around, and an old friend who I hadn't talked to in probably 8 years just randomly messaged me on Facebook, and he's like, "Dude, come to my small group." And I was like, "Dude, you're weird, but I need that."
So the clock was ticking, now late in the 4th quarter, and a radical life change was wholly in order. Scramble to the line, one last play, just go deep. A Hail Mary, a desperate cry, a prayer, just please find me.
When I was a freshman at WSU 2 years ago, my life was forever changed by the most amazing story ever told. The story of the gospel. I heard this message for the first time and was forever changed.
The gospel is that in the beginning, earth was created to be perfect. People walked on the earth and rebelled against a God who desired for them to be perfect. And for a long time, people walked in sin and were away from God. But God chose to wrap himself in flesh and place himself on earth in the form of Jesus Christ. And he taught a lot of crazy, profound things, and people started to think, who is this guy? What's he talking about? And he was crucified on a cross because of that. And in that, God was taken by his own people and bared the weight of sin, of all of humanity in one moment, and allowed those who believe in that to walk freely with him into eternity. And he promises us that he does not leave us or forsake us.
Caught, or more accurately intercepted. See, on the shores of California, his soul was healed and mended. The glory of God amongst the waves suspended, and now upon the death and resurrection of a cross, I am dependent. See, there is no escape from his splendor, his glory, his power, his faith, his majesty extend forever and ever. The King of Kings freed me, and never again can I be a slave. The Lion of Judah roars, and fearfully I call out his name.
I think since knowing him, the biggest change is just I kind of have a bigger purpose to my life now. Just knowing, okay, I'm here to serve God, and I know whatever I do, God and Jesus, they're there for me to back me up, and I'm not really worried about that. And before, I was really worried more about where I was going, and I was kind of lost.
The void that I always held before knowing him, it's filled. It's gone. I don't have one anymore. All the years I hated my father for never being there, never knowing him, I grew up to become the man I am today, and I had a father all along. I just didn't know him.
But don't get me wrong, this doesn't make me perfect, but rather I know that I am called according to his purpose. He freed me from works, he picked me up and said, "Boy, I will make you a man and you will experience my joy." What more could you ask for, not being called to a steeple, just being called to love God and to love people?
I'm not going to school just to get an education so I can get a job so I can make money and live comfortably. I'm going to school so that I can have an impact on the people around me and be that now in college and then in my future. And my entire purpose in life, no matter what direction I choose, is to live out the gospel and spread it and be a force of restoration.
And this now here ends, or rather just begins, my story. I live for God's glory.